Oh, that's right. We don't do intros on the show. Why do I do this from time to time? I like have this like fucking brain fart where it's like, oh yeah, don't forget don't do intros anymore, dum dum.
How's that working out for you?
Yeah, it's working out real great. It's a 99% of the time thing, but then it's these 1% that feel more than 1%. I don't know.
Well, at least you started the recording after we were ripping on Father Malone. So.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, if he's not here, I mean, you know, you open yourself up for it.
Fair game.
Yeah, fair game. Fair game. You know what, though? It's kind of disappointing that he's not here because I feel like he would enjoy this movie. Maybe? You don't think so?
Who wouldn't be able to enjoy this movie?
That's fair. I don't know. Someone who doesn't like someone who has to read subtitles.
Oh man, I knew I liked this movie, but I forgot just how much I liked it until I rewatched it, and I was tickled pink. And it's funny, so like, you know, we'll get to spoilers in a little bit, but I knew the very end of the movie, and I'm just like, wait a second, you know, because it feels like the movie ends at one point, and it's
yes.
just like,
it does.
Well, wait a second, there's that whole thing. Where is that happening? And then finally it happens. I'm like, oh my God, thank goodness I wasn't, because I was like, oh man, I can't wait for Chris to see this ending. And then when it doesn't happen for a while, I'm like, oh my God, I'm totally disappointed.
No, this is the wrong movie. Turns out Chow Yun-Fat's just in it for like 6 minutes.
Right. Was that the sequel?
He breathed over the celluloid. God. Yeah, so on this episode of the Culture Cast, we're going to be talking about another film for Mike White March, another Chow Yun-Fat film. This one is called Tiger on Beat, or Lu Fu Chut Gang.
Or Tiger on the Beat, if you want to.
Tiger on the Beat.
Yeah, but it's all Tiger on Beat.
Nobody sir。買胸圍啊！
你戴胸圍離譜啲啩？
哦，唔係，我同老婆買啊。
咩 size 啊？幾大啊？陳奕詩
冇咁大。
鄭裕玲
佢是大是細㗎。
梅艷芳
佢邊度有啫？
咁有冇我咁犀利啊？
你係誇張個頭啦你。
色狼啊！
邊個啊？
色狼啊！色狼啊！
喂，你唔好再喐啦！如果唔係叉住咗你呢條罪，襲警啊！喂，沙展啊，唔好太過火啦！你死咗啲啊！唔好喐啦，八婆！風村啊！
冇啊！我唔知係邊個，我冇啊！
喂，作死啊！佢身痕啊，大過龍佢都想喐啊！
我要你應承我一件事。
好，你講。
你
以後笑都去滾啊！
好，我慳啲使嘅啦。醫生吩咐叫我食得冇嘥啊！
俾護士長見到啊，實鬧死我
咁
啦！
應承我今晚睇戲先啦。
你真係
我好耐都冇靚女陪我睇過戲啦，陰公嚟啦！
醫生俾你出院㗎啦！
唉，醫生話我缺乏母愛，心理生理都需要治療啊！
唔噏啦，快啲上床啊！
上床一齊上啦，扮咩酒精嚟咪嚟啦！嗱，喺邊度？
大哥
啊，咪咪，
殺到嚟啦！
我妹嚟嘅，佢教我溝女嘅。你個衰仔啊！過嚟！喂，冇嘢！
And I love that they just use the like poster image for the title card for this.
Oh, they mean that the tiger with the little face?
Yeah, yeah,
The hat
and the
on?
hat, yeah.
Yeah, and the bullet
Surprised it's not surprised it's not a visor. He
Right?
loves his
Oh my
visors in
God.
this.
Why isn't all the promotional material? Why isn't Chow Yun-Fat wearing a visor? Oh, because he doesn't look cool with the visor because he looks like a dork. like the main image on IMDb, and it's him at the end with the shotgun. And it's
Right.
like he did not look like that 99% of the film. He looked like a dork with his visor on. So we're talking about Tiger on Beat. So Mike, why, before we talk about the movie, why did you pick Tiger on Beat? Because you had seen this one before, clearly.
I had, and it because it's fucking awesome. I mean, it's kind of like a mashup of Lethal Weapon and Running Scared, but through a Hong Kong lens. So it just goes balls to the wall, fucking crazy. And it's got so many of the things that I love. Just like, I love Fu Yuansheng, who is the guy who Chow is cuckolding at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And like in my mind, I recast him as being the other guy at the end that he's fighting. And I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. But it was so great. Him, and that he's got a little Shao San, a little piece on the side that he's dealing with. And he's coming home drunk. And there's Chow doing the CPR, quote unquote, on the wife.
Yeah.
All of this stuff hits for me. You got the new partner, the hot shot thing. You got Chow Yun-Fat pissing his pants. It mixes the humor with the action really well for me. And I'm just like, I can't wait to hear what you thought about it, because as I rewatched this, I was just delighted.
So it's actually funny. So again, I kind of went into these movies with no idea what to expect, and I had been talking about this year at some point doing like buddy cop movies because I really want to talk about Dragnet, the Tom Hanks, Dan Aykroyd film.
Of course. Is there any other? It wasn't a TV show or anything, was it?
Yeah, right. To be fair, the movie is just, that's what everybody remembers, you know.
Right.
Emil Muzz dancing around in the goat legs. I mean, who would remember a TV show with a much more infamous theme song? So I thought about, because again, buddy cop movies, it's not that I haven't seen them, but if you were to ask me what buddy cop movies I've seen, it would probably be a short list of National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1 and then the Rush Hour movies.
Okay.
So I haven't seen 48 Hours. I've never even seen Lethal Weapon.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so when you were like, it's a mashup of this and Lethal Weapon, it's like, I know it's a mashup of that and Lethal Weapon, but like, I've never seen Lethal Weapon.
Wow. Yeah, there are direct lifts of, well, both movies, but with Running Scared, there's a part where Jimmy Smits is being chased by Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines, and he doesn't have any pants on, so he makes them throw their pants down to him. Same thing. He misses the first time instead of it ending up in a tree. And then the second time he catches the pants and puts them on and runs away. So yeah, I'm just watching that. I'm just like, yep, this is running scared. Okay.
Yeah, like for me, it was just I didn't know, so I thought it was from this movie. So, and that's the thing. Like I don't want to. Like, I know that this movie is inspired by Lethal Weapon, but I don't want this movie to be the reason I watch Lethal Weapon. I want to watch Lethal Weapon.
Right. Yeah.
Like sit down and actually, like, I'm going to watch all of them. I don't know if I need to watch all of them, but I at least need to watch the first one.
The first one, maybe the second one, but man.
Not the third one, huh?
Third and fourth get pretty rough, man.
Is there a fourth? I thought
there is. Okay. Oh, the fourth one is the most racist of the Lethal Weapon films.
Wow.
Yeah,
good, great. Mm.
Oh yeah. Jet Li. I mean, pretty much anybody Asian just is. Yeah, they're just great. Dog shit. So
great.
The second one is racist against South Africans, but they're racist in and of themselves. So that's fine.
Are we talking like the Rhodesian type South Africans?
Oh, we're talking about the Boers. We're talking about this is all about apartheid and Krugerrands and all that kind of stuff.
Diplomatic immunity. I have seen that. I have seen that.
There you go. That's the best line from that movie.
I have seen that. Diplomatic immunity. What does he say? Immunity revoked or some shit like bang. Oh my God. Yeah, so I've never seen Lethal Weapon, but I didn't want to watch this movie. Be like, well, now I got to watch Lethal Weapon to know what it's from. So I was like, all right, I'll just watch this as a buddy cop movie. And yeah, what a surprise. It's so much fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad you had a good time.
I mean, come on. Was there a real worry here that I wasn't going to like this movie?
Not
I'm an easy
really.
tell. You've known me for almost a decade now.
Yeah.
We talk critically about movies enough. I feel like I'm an easy tell.
I mean, maybe you were in a bad mood or something. And there's a lot of like extraneous stuff in here. Like when they go to the bar and T Lung is there and they just suddenly have a karate fight for no reason whatsoever. But it's like, it's T Lung. This is fucking fantastic. And you'll see more T Lung when we watch the Better Tomorrow films.
Because he's like, T Lung was worked with the Shaw Brothers, right? Like all the time.
Yeah. He's like old school guy. So him showing up was just like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's like an addition for people who understand his background. Mm-hmm. And I kind of I picked up on that, obviously. And then once the film was over, I went and looked and understood more, kind of why he was important. But man, again, it reminded me a lot of those Jackie Chan movies we did a couple years ago. But again, that makes sense because those are Hong Kong movies, kind of like these, like the cop movies. I mean, those Jackie Chan movies, I'd never seen the cop story. I'd never seen that before. I'd only heard about it. So watching this was oddly reminiscent of that. I can't imagine that. You feel the same way, right? It's kind of tonally the same. Maybe a little fun. This movie's a little funnier, maybe, but I think Jackie Chan stuff, for the most part, is kind of always skews humorous. Sometimes way too much.
Yeah, especially more of his American stuff, I would say, relies on the humor almost too much. But, I mean, the same director also, and T Lung, of course, also worked in Drunken Master 2. So, you picking up on that feel and stuff totally makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and I'm, Drunken Master 2 is, definitely not one of, if not, it's one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we talked about it. God, go listen to that episode if you really want it. Because we talked about the second one, right? Not the first one.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. That was the legend of the Drunken Master in the United States.
Right.
And the one where they're fighting with the fire on the coals and stuff, right? Okay.
Yeah, and that whole fight under the train with the spear and everything, the old man with the ginseng and trying to get that ginseng back and sliding it down the spear.
Oh my God, how long ago was that?
That was a few years ago.
That was well, it had to have been at least been 2019. Probably further back than that.
Yeah, it was way pre-pandemic.
Wow. Yeah. Good Lord. Yeah, again, that movie obviously, tonally is different than this one, but they're directed by the same person, like you said. But, again, for someone who's not a big buddy cop guy, like into those movies and have a lot of frame of reference, this movie's a lot of fun. There are some really fun set pieces. I think it's tonally a little strange in points, especially when Chow Yun-Fat's like beating the shit out of that woman, Nina Li Chi. Like,
yeah.
It's a little much.
A little uncomfortable there.
It's a lot uncomfortable, actually. Yeah. So she's the sister of a heroin dealer, and she ends up leading Chow Yun-Fat and Conan Lee to him, essentially inadvertently, right?
Right. And he's not like one of the upper guys. He's one of the upper guys' minions.
He's like a runner.
Right, but somehow I think he was involved in switching out the heroin or coke. I was thinking coke with something else, and they don't really say what it is. I'm going to assume baby laxative. He switches that out inside of the surfboards that they're using to transport these drugs around Hong Kong.
To the hilarious dubbed white actors.
Oh man, those white actors. Whenever you get white actors in these movies, it is hilarious.
Oh my God.
It.
They speak English. And some of the Hong Kong actors speak English, like a couple phrases, but they only speak English and they're dubbed. Mm-hmm. And it's wild. One guy talks in a whisper.
Yes, he does. He's very Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Whisper talk. It's funny. Like you said, there's this moment about 2/3 of the way through the movie where you feel like the movie's wrapped up. You feel like the movie has come to its kind of logical conclusion, and then you forget that the British, I would just assume British or Australian, Australian drug dealers show back up, and it's like, oh yeah, there's one tier above the other drug dealers. They have to deal with the kind of the really bad drug dealers who, just kill one of the main characters of the film, just like out of nowhere. Man, I was not expecting that at all.
They are shooting people left and right in this. And even the guy who brings them the surfboards with the bad drugs in it or whatever's in there, they just cold-blooded murder that guy. Just murk him right there.
Yeah. That's what I was saying about the tone of the movie. It's tonally kind of strange because when you have movies like this, for the most part, at least in American cinema, they don't really embrace the violence of the actual violence. The violence is kind of secondary. Like, think about Rush Hour, right? Like, how much blood is in Rush Hour? Very little blood. In this movie, it's like dudes are getting like fucking shotgunned at close range. Like mercilessly, like just poof, bang, dead. Dude just like flies out of the way. Dudes are flying all over the place. A female character, that one of them, essentially the main female character, gets gunned down in the last 10 minutes of the movie.
That was super surprising, man.
Yeah, it's surprising because that is so unlike American cinema. So watching this, it's kind of getting a better sense of what exactly the expectations are with these kinds of movies, right?
Right. Well, and especially in American films, it's what it was, It's, I almost called him Mark. It's Francis's, Chow Yun-Fat's sister eventually ends up in danger. And there's like kind of a romance between her and his partner who he initially hates him a lot because he humiliated him. Michael, which, okay, I'm not sure. Michael Cho. All right. And then there's Mary Donna, who is the bad girl who eventually, kind of comes around. She's the one that you said gets, murdered at the end. And I'm just like, no, it's supposed to be like Conan Lee ends up with the sister and then Chow Yun-Fat ends up with Mary Donna. That's how it's supposed to be. No. So at the end, like, it's just the three of them. And I'm like, all right, this is odd because it's American films, it's all about coupling, like who's going to end up with who at the end.
Right, and that's my point. It's like this would not fly in American cinema. They would never do that. And they would never do that either because, you have this character gets kidnapped and then just murdered in the process of being kidnapped. They get murdered. It's a little bit of like a reality check that these movies, I think in a way, like, it ups the stakes of the movie because like in Rush Hour or something like that, like I'm like, okay, the characters are all going to be fine, right?
Right.
In this, it's like, no. Like this main character who you followed throughout the entire film essentially dies.
Oh, and her brother gets murdered too. It's like, wow.
And very little fanfare is given for her death, if any. It's like, she's dead and we're just moving on. Like,
yep. Well, we've got a chainsaw fight to get to, folks.
Oh my God. Oh. That is, without a doubt, some of the wildest shit I've ever seen.
I mean, that's what I remember from this movie. I had forgotten everything else, and it was just like, oh yeah, Tiger on Beat. That's the one with the chainsaw fight.
Yeah. I'm so in your remembrance of the movie, do you overlook the shotgun on a string?
Oh my God.
Holy shit. I'm not sure that would work that way, but boy, I believe in this movie it does.
Oh, I loved that. I was
what the hell?
In my living room cheering, just like, yes, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Just him throwing that shotgun.
I know. It's
grabbing it back, cocking it, throwing it again.
So imagine you have a shotgun, a pump-action shotgun with a string tied around it that's looped over the trigger, and you're throwing it out, and in the process of throwing it, you snap it back and snap the trigger to shoot it. That is what Chow Yun-Fat does in this film towards the end with 100% accuracy.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect accuracy every time. But it's so fucking cool. At one point, he, like, throws it in a certain way that it, like, gets caught, and then he pulls it and shoots the guy when it's like slammed in the door.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh, so good.
I don't know why, I think the kind of my only gripe with this movie is, and this is going to sound like, complaints for over nothing, but like there should have been more of that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Well, it keeps amping it up. Right. I mean, it's like, you don't get like the opening chase and all that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, that's good. Some good action set pieces, and there's a couple more action set pieces you go through. But that's one of the things I like is that, like, towards the end, man, all bets are off. We are just going to, we are going to go wild in this third act, and this does not disappoint.
If you're coming into a movie like this and you're like, is the third act going to be something really special? Yes, it is. Because you have Conan Lee fighting, I guess, is it Philip Coe?
I'm not sure, because they don't really say these guys' names too often.
No, they don't. It's the last man standing. I guess the last man standing is still alive. The brother is still alive at the end. He's the second to last one standing. He's the squirrely looking one.
Yeah.
He's really squirrely looking, and he gets injured throughout the movie, and at the end of the film, they take Chow Yun-Fat's sister hostage, kill the other female character, and then they break into their surfboard factory? That's what it is, like outdoor underwater equipment factory is what they kind of say, and in not so many words, they end up inside, and Conan Lee and another character are fighting with chainsaws, flying through the air.
So good.
It's amazing. It's like you said, like, if there's any reason to hunt this movie down, it's Chow Yun-Fat is amazing in this movie, but you can go on YouTube and just search chainsaw fight kung fu movie, and this would probably come up, and people don't even know what this movie's called. Like,
no.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's not Chow Yun-Fat fighting. So people wouldn't even, like, Conan Lee is not going to be recognizable to American audiences.
Right.
So you, dear listener, may have already seen this, unbeknownst to yourself about what this is. I may have seen this at some point, too, and just been like, oh, that's cool. But, like, I didn't know it was going to be, like, in a movie I would eventually watch. A really good movie, though. Like, the ending aside, which is kind of like what you're here for, it's still a pretty well-paced, well-written movie. It doesn't do anything special with the genre, I don't think. Clarify if I haven't seen enough to really make a statement, but I know the tropes.
Yeah, no, this hits all those beats, even like, they go to like a health place at one point, and I'm just like, okay, this reminds me a little bit of like Magic Cop, which is also a buddy cop movie in some ways, or even Dead Heat, the one with Joe Piscopo and Treat Williams. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, it follows those beats, right. So it really makes, it's very, I would say this is very palatable to American audiences. I think the one thing that would really throw them would be Chow Yun-Fat wetting himself at the beginning and still being cool, even though, that would be like the end of a career for like, Mel Gibson or somebody.
pissing his pants in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, it is interesting. That scene opens the movie, and I didn't put together where the movie was going until after the scene, and then I was like, okay, this guy's gonna be his partner.
Right.
But I also didn't even understand what the hell Chow Yun-Fat was doing at the beginning of the movie, to be perfectly honest with you. It seemed a little like he was just kind of there doing things.
Yeah, I mean, it starts off with, because now these movies are starting to run together, because this is not the scene of him going in and buying lunch for Jenny from An Autumn's Tale, and him ordering all of that fried rice and the pig and everything. Oh my God, I still think about that meal that he ate.
I know. No, this is two Horlicks and breakfast.
Oh, that's right. That he's drinking all the
goddamn eggs, Mike.
Oh God!
He drank a dozen eggs, my friend.
What was it? I taught this to. Oh God! It was. He does this whole thing about like how somebody taught this to Alain Delon, who taught it to Sylvester Stallone, who's taught it to like T. Lung, who then taught it to me or something.
Yeah, I think it was Bruce. I think the first person was Bruce Lee. It was God. Bruce. This was Bruce Lee's breakfast or something. It's like just a glass of eggs. Oh my God! And
then 2 regular breakfasts on top of that.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Oh yeah, chopsticks are for the weak or whatever." And he's there with his knife and fork eating this breakfast,
jamming it into his fucking face.
God.
And then he's drinking Horlicks too, which, if for those of you that don't know what Horlicks is essentially like milk tea, right?
Because it looked almost like horchata, but it was more of a chocolate looking.
Yeah,
kind of
I think it might be like milk tea.
Interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
But then he pisses himself.
Yes, as you do, because he's got a gun shoved in his mouth. Because there's Conan Lee trying to chase these guys down, and poor Chow Yun-Fat's got hiccups, but at least he gets rid of the hiccups.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Drinking, boy, what an introduction to his character. Just he's, it's really funny. Like Chow Yun-Fat, I'm kind of surprised he never had more of an American, right?
He's a goddamn charming bastard, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I don't get it. Like he's more charming than Jackie Chan, because Jackie Chan is. I like Jackie Chan, but I think we could both agree Jackie Chan's kind of one note. Mm-hmm. Right? Like I'm not going to cast Jackie Chan in a dramatic film. Like I'm just not.
No. Like
Chow
Sammo,
Yun-Fat.
I would.
Sammo,
Yeah.
I would, sure.
Right.
But Jackie, I think Jackie Chan that's Jackie Chan's own creation. Is like he's now like the American westernized happy like actor guy of the fucking tuxedo and
right
around the world in 80 days. Like
I didn't see that one with him and Pierce Brosnan. I don't know if that's a more of a dramatic term. Yeah,
I was okay.
Okay,
it was all right. I think my expectations were a little higher than they should have been, given who was in it, but also given who was in it, like Pierce Brosnan, Jackie Chan. Like that's solid right there. Those two leads. But Chow Yun-Fat, it's weird to me that he never had an American like career like Jackie Chan did, or fuck even Jet Li. Holy shit! People would say if you said Chow Yun-Fat to someone, they would first go who, and secondly, then they would go the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean or Crouching Tiger.
Right. Yeah, and it's weird. Yeah, Jet Li, and then Danny. Why am I blanking?
Donnie Yen.
Donnie Yen. Thank you.
The Ip Man.
Yeah, and who is also in that horrible Star Wars movie. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's a good Star Wars movie.
What?
We're in the minority. You know how many people say to me that that's a good Star Wars movie, and I placate them, and I'm like, yep, sure is. I need to rewatch it. I don't understand how my opinion's going to change about a movie that was taken out into the wood shop and taken apart and put back together 8,000 times. It's Alan Tudyk because that robot that really just takes me over the top.
Wow.
The only good thing about that movie is I am one with the Force and the Force is one with me. That's the best part of that movie.
There you go.
And that's right out of Donnie Yen's fucking mouth. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
I could have done for a whole movie of him and his buddy.
Right. Yeah. No. We have that. What is it? Andor TV show.
Oh Jesus!
Cool. Star Wars just paddling. It's like they're treading water at this point. And Mandalorian's like, I have nothing to do with Star Wars anymore. Goodbye. I have my own thing. Like, some people even forget that I'm a Star Wars anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because for a long time, he wasn't beholden to any of those other fucking characters. And then Luke has to show up. And I'm like, really? We got to tie this back to this other shit, huh?
Exactly.
And now Obi-Wan is just going to be all that.
Yeah, but kind of like Chow Yun-Fat. Like, I would like for more American audiences to see Ewan McGregor's dramatic stuff.
Yeah. Oh, God, yes.
And I think that we may get that with maybe. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm expecting too much, but like, just like with that, I would have liked to have seen American audiences Chow Yun-Fat stuff because, like, he's a good actor. Like,
he's damn good. Yeah.
Like, Ewan McGregor is better than just Obi-Wan Kenobi, but that's what I would say most people know him as. Most like, just like, if you ask someone on the street, like, what do you know this guy from? They'd be like, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Which, again, not a bad role, but neither is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but it's just not, it's not an American career the way Jackie Chan had, or Jet Li, or Donnie Yen even. Or Michelle Yeoh, holy shit.
It's really frustrating for me to look at Chow Yun-Fat's IMDb page, and he's like known for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Okay, I can see that. The fucking Replacement Killers, Curse of the Golden Flower, which is 2006. Frankly, I hadn't heard of it. And Dragon Ball Evolution.
Wow, that is a fucking joke, right?
Fuck me sideways. I mean,
forgot that he was in that movie.
Where's Hard Boiled? Where's The Killer? Where's A Better Tomorrow? I mean, they make A Better Tomorrow reference in Tiger on Beat when he's flirting with the receptionist and he's just like, oh yeah, my name's Mark. And I'm like, there you go. There's your character from A Better Tomorrow. I mean, he's been into, even if it's American films, like do Anna and the King or something. You know, don't have it be. I mean, Replacement Killers was just, it was so promising and it was so bad. I mean, at least it's better than Bulletproof Monk, but not by much.
Is Replacement Killer the American Inspector Tequila movie? Essentially the American Inspector Tequila movie?
It's been so long since I've seen it. I just remember Mira Sorvino being in it and Jürgen Prochnow. It's got like a really good cast. Danny Trejo's in it. But man, they are just wasted. And it's like, I really liked Mira Sorvino, but she still has that stink of Tarantino on her. And I think that Tarantino's the one who's just like, you should be in this movie. And she was not suited for it at all.
Stink of Tarantino?
Yeah, they were a couple for a long time.
Oh.
Yep. That was probably maybe, I don't even want to start making jokes about Harvey Weinstein, but I think
he's going for it, folks.
Her career seems like it was one of those that was
from
probably
what I've heard,
derailed by the monster.
The monster of Hollywood, fucking Harvey Weinstein. We were talking about on our screen. Have you ever seen Scream 3?
I have not. I don't even know if I've seen the second one.
That's unfortunate. The second one's... on our episode, we essentially determined the second one is the one that the three of us liked. Again, our opinions notwithstanding. In the third movie, there is a plot line that is very similar to what Harvey Weinstein was doing in real life.
Wow.
And the character is played by Lance Henriksen. And we were like sitting there thinking, like, do you think he was like sitting in a meeting, like watching this and being like, good movie, guys? Like, you know what I mean? Like thinking about it, like, man, this is hitting a little close to home for all the horrible things I'm doing in our fucking industry and destroying it from the inside out like a fucking cancer.
Do you think he was that self-aware?
I don't know, man. He's a sociopath, so he's probably overly self-aware. I don't know. Maybe he was so self-aware about certain things that I don't know. He's probably just like, they'll never figure me out anyway, so what does it matter? They're not making it about me, you know. That's probably what, you know, that comes in the future. They'll make a movie about it eventually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it's still too fresh. But yeah, I guess I hadn't thought about the Replacement Killers as, I guess that is kind of the only other American thing he's been in.
Yeah,
Western.
I mean, yeah, he was.
Crouching Tiger's not a Western movie.
I wouldn't consider that a Western film. No. Yeah,
It got big here. Not sure why.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a great movie.
It's a good movie, but that's more was like, why that movie of all movies?
Right.
Right?
Yeah, there was that like little spate there of like, I think it was post Peace Hotel where it was like Replacement Killers. The Corruptor, was that fucking Mark Wahlberg in that?
Oh God.
Oh
God.
I think it was. And then
Mark.
Yeah, and then I mentioned Anna and the King, which I was kind of had high hopes for, and then Bulletproof Monk, and then he might have done other American things after that, but of course, Pirates of the Caribbean 3, 2?
At World's End. He did Dragon Ball Evolution as well.
Which I didn't even know was a thing until like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, he plays like Master. Someone's gonna roast me if I say it wrong. He plays Goku's master, whose name I don't remember, so I'm not going to say. It's like Master Roshi or Yoshi or something. Master Roshi. Master Roshi is his name. Yeah, and he plays that character to Justin Chatwin, a obviously, very obviously white actor.
Of course, yeah. we can't allow any Asian actors, especially young Asian people. I mean,
in our fucking movie about Dragon Ball Z and anime.
Well, what was the one with Jackie Chan where it was like this kid who time travels and oh man,
a kid who Jackie Chan movie with time traveling?
Yeah.
Is it an American film or a Hong Kong film?
I think it's an American film. Was it The Forbidden Kingdom?
You remember that buddy cop? You remember that buddy cop movie with Johnny Knoxville and Jackie Chan?
No.
What?
Wow.
Right? And Fan Bingbing is in it, and it's directed by Rennie Harlan.
Fan Bingbing, who got canceled hard by the Chinese government for a while. I'm gonna make she's still alive.
Well, best we know she's still alive.
Yeah.
God.
The Forbidden Kingdom from 2008, directed by Rob Minkoff and written by John Fusco, stars Jet Li, Jackie Chan, Michael Angarano. So there's your white kid. A discovery made by a kung fu obsessed American teen sends him on an adventure to China, where he joins up with a band of martial arts warriors in order to free the imprisoned Monkey King.
I have seen that poster, I don't know how many times, and I did not know there was a white character in that movie.
Yeah, and there's this is Bing Bing Lee is in this one, not Fan Bing Bing. But yeah, this is I think it was on cable one day, and I was just like, what is this thing?
What in God's name have I stumbled upon?
What in holy hell? Yeah.
Yeah. We might have to watch that. Do you think that Jackie Chan, Johnny Knoxville movie's any good?
I would be game to try it.
I know you would be, so would I.
Yeah, I'm glutton for punishment.
It's and Jackie Chan is playing a Hong Kong detective.
There's a whole secret world of Johnny Knoxville films out there that we do not know about.
I mean, I have seen The Ringer.
Oh, I've seen The Ringer as well. I'm trying to think. There's one. Was it a camp movie? There's one that was produced by Tarantino. I think there was one that my buddy Todd.
Action Point?
No, it was a different one. I think Todd Rohal might have directed this one. Oh shit. We are so far away from Tiger on Beat.
We are. But yet somehow we found a movie that might be interesting to talk about. Yeah, Johnny Knoxville's film career has been. Remember when he was in Men in Black 2?
Yes, I do.
Don't we all?
Let's see. Not Uncle Kent 2. Nature Calls. There it is. Nature Calls with Patton Oswalt, Johnny Knoxville, Mara Tierney,
and Rob Riggle.
Polar opposite brothers Randy and Kirk never saw eye to eye, but their rivalry is taken to a new level when Randy hijacks Kirk's son's sleepover. So this was written and directed by Todd Rohal, who has a thing about Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts, which is interesting because he did a great movie called Knuckleface Jones. I would be very game to see this because I like Todd's work a lot.
What is it called? Nature Calls?
Nature Calls from 2012.
Looks like it. The cover just looks.
Like I said, there's this whole world of Knoxville films that we don't know about.
And that was apparently Patrice O'Neill's final film. Yeah, Johnny Knoxville's been in a bunch of stuff as just like random like sidekicks. Like, do you remember that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
I love that Arnold Schwarzenegger
Never seen
film.
it, but I know he's in it.
Oh, it's probably the last great Arnold film until he does the next great Arnold film.
Which, who knows when that will be.
It's probably going to be a little while.
Yeah. Speaking of foreign actors that have massive American appeal, what do you think it was with Chow Yun-Fat? I'm curious. Do you think it was a choice by him, or do you think it was just the projects he got just burned him out? I'm curious, like, what is kind of your take?
I mean, I don't know if it was the language thing, because that was actually a big hurdle for Jackie for a long time.
Yeah.
Was actually being able to speak English very well. And I know I've seen Chow speak English in some things. I don't know if I've seen him interviewed. I think I've seen him interviewed in English as well. And I want to say like Anne and the King, he's speaking English in. So I don't think it was a language barrier. I'm not sure why he wasn't bigger over here than he was. Like, if just that, because he's got it all. He's got the goofiness. He's got the charm. He can do action, comedy. Drama. Yeah.
It's like saying, like, Jackie Chan, in comparison to Chow Yun-Fat, is Chow Yun-Fat as gifted with martial arts? No, but he's much more gifted as just an actor.
Right. And Chow can fake it. I mean, there's some good karate things that he's doing where I'm just like, okay, yeah, that works.
Yeah. I don't understand. It's kind of strange. It's actually very strange because, again, like, if an American audience could see this movie, they'd be like, make more movies with him.
Right.
Doing this crazy shit with a shotgun and just being kind of a general kind of like, I don't know, kind of like appealing, charismatic character.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe he's just never had the script, the direction. I don't know. The thing is, I just don't know. What were people watching when they're like, we need to cast Chow Yun-Fat in this movie? Like, what movies were you watching of his in the 80s that was like, that were enticing you to cast him in things? Was it just John Woo stuff? Because it's kind of like, at this point, that's kind of like what I might be leaning towards. Mm-hmm. I think so. I don't think, I hope that Tiger on Beat is available out there on DVD, possibly Blu-ray, but I don't know how easy it is to find. I know that Tiger on Beat 2 is a little tougher to find. That was very difficult to find with English subtitles. I really only found like a Egyptian subtitled version that I then had to have English subtitles put over. I know I'd seen that a long time ago, but it's so weird with Hong Kong films. Like, stuff is so out of print now in a lot of areas, and it's like, come on, let's be able to see this. And that's interesting that Tiger on Beat 2 is Conan Lee comes back, but then rather than it being Chow Yun-Fat, it's Danny Lee. And that whole thing of them swapping roles, I think that's been done before. I think Danny Lee has come back in other sequels, and it's just really odd that he does that.
Interesting. So does Danny Lee replace his character?
I don't think he's playing the same character, but gotcha. It's, same director, I think same writer. Yeah. So it's like, all right, that's interesting. And then even the VHS cover, it's, that same tiger with the hat and the bullet and everything. Yeah.
Interesting. I'm not, when I got to the end of this movie, I was like, I don't know if I want to watch another one though. Mm-hmm. Especially if it doesn't have Chow Yun-Fat in it. Like,
exactly. I mean, Danny Lee's very charming.
Oh, yeah.
But he's not as charming as Chow. I mean, I can see why Danny Lee didn't take off in the United States, but Chow Yun-Fat, I'm still scratching my head. And I don't know if Danny Lee ever tried to take that route or anything, but he was a good actor, or probably still is a good actor. And he is another person where you're like, oh, he's in a horror movie now. Oh, he's in this now. Oh, okay, this is interesting. But yeah, more action oriented, I would say, than even Chow Yun-Fat was.
Even though, again, like, most American audiences would only know Chow Yun-Fat for like one thing.
Yeah.
Which is why, and people my age will know him from the John Woo stuff primarily because he was in Stranglehold, which was a video game that launched with the Xbox 360. That was the Inspector Tequila video game, where he like played the character. I think the game was directed by John Woo, where they had him on as like a consultant. But like most people my age will know him from that and probably nothing else. But like, but again, it goes back to that John Woo thing where it's like it's the action stuff. Because like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is not an action movie.
No, it's not. It's more of a drama. I mean, there's those scenes with all the wire work and probably by that time digital effects, but yeah, it's much more of a drama story about what's happening in that world. I haven't seen this since I saw it theatrically, I think, all those years ago.
Yeah, I remember seeing it once, and it was good, but
I didn't know there was a sequel until just recently.
Oh, yeah, what?
Yeah, there you go.
right there with you, apparently. Unbeknownst to me.
Just for the record, the Quentin Tarantino produced Johnny Knoxville film is called Daltrey Calhoun from 2005.
You heard of that one?
I know that I had heard of it. I think they were giving away posters at a film festival I went to.
Is Johnny Knoxville in Bulletproof Monk?
No, that is Sean William Scott.
Okay, so not Johnny Knoxville.
No, it is
other Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, it's Sean William Scott just being an obnoxious asshole.
He would never do something like that.
I know. I mean, I like the guy.
Me too.
But you know, that was his shtick, right?
Well, the post Stifler years, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm one of those people that unabashedly loves Evolution. So. And
that's surprising to me.
Why?
Because it's not a very good movie.
There's David Duchovny in it.
I know
it's essentially Ghostbusters. Like, I don't know what there's not to like, really.
Yeah.
I know what there's not to like. I just don't care.
You just choose to ignore it. That's fine. That's fine.
I know that.
Yeah. I mean, it's got Orlando Jones in there. But
yeah, you like Orlando Jones. He sat on your lap a couple times.
Yes, he did.
He sure has. It's got Duchovny. It's got the horribly miscast Julianne Moore.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I forgot she was even in that. And she can do comedy really well, too.
Yeah, she's not good in it, though.
Yeah, no. I mean, to me, it was, there was Ghostbusters, but it was so Men in Black to me.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was kind of Ghostbusters, kind of Men in Black. I mean, but isn't Men in Black just kind of Ghostbusters anyways, but with aliens?
Kinda, yeah.
That's the closest I think anybody's ever come to making a quote real Ghostbusters sequel is just Men in Black, which is why those two worlds would have made perfect sense to just like figure out a way to make them cross over.
Yeah.
No, I understand the problem with Evolution, but it also has Ted Levine in it.
There you go.
Yeah. Would you fuck
sold?
Me? I'd fuck me. I'd fuck me hard. Fucking Hannibal
so
Lecter.
Good.
Yeah. I really liked this movie. Back to this movie. Back to Tiger on Beat. If I were to, because I don't think we're watching another one of these police movies this month, are we?
Full Contact is another action film.
Right.
So you're going to get that, but I don't think he's a cop in that one.
What would be, so for anyone who watches this and wants to watch something else like this, what would you suggest that's another Chow Yun-Fat movie like this one?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question. I guess Hard Boiled is probably as close as you're going to get because he is a cop in that, but that one's, I'd say, a lot more serious.
Right,
even though
I expected the self-seriousness.
Yeah, well, but it's serious, but I don't think it's too self-serious.
Okay.
I mean, City on Fire doesn't have the crazy action. City on Fire is much more of a drama action type of film. You get stuff like, oh gosh, what else? What would be a good comparison? Because
Seventh Curse. I mean,
no, he's actually in this movie.
Fair.
I mean, yeah, because he's obviously he's played cops. Maybe no, like the Ringo Lam stuff, I just can't recommend. Ringo Lam always had a great way of setting stuff up and then never being able to pay it off. So, like, I know a lot of people love Prison on Fire, which he's a criminal rather than a cop in that one. But yeah, I mean, pretty much all of these, Ringo Lam films are on fire. Prison on Fire, School on Fire, I think he might have done, City, Prison, so.
Reservoir Dogs on Fire, like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Fucking good God, boy. We came full fucking circle now. Now we're fully back around. We've come all the way back around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where's Chow Yun-Fat in Tarantino's latest film? Seems like the kind of person he would catch. You know, I'm this great actor, Chow Yun-Fat. He's never been in any American stuff. All right, bro.
He dedicated the Reservoir Dogs script to him. So,
Hey.
one of many people.
It's almost like there was another movie that he just watched and liked so much he just made it.
Something like that.
So, Mike, what are your final thoughts on Tiger on Beat?
Watch it immediately. It really epitomizes Hong Kong action for me. I mean, I've seen a lot of other things that are very similar to this, but this is one of the best examples because it's got the comedy, it's got the drama, and it's definitely has the action. And like I said, I think it would be very palatable to Americans just because it does play with those buddy cop tropes through the entire thing.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, as someone who hasn't even seen those American films that this is kind of like aping, I like you said, I really appreciate that this was easily digestible for someone who doesn't even have a frame of reference for the American films. So them doing their own thing is like, oh, okay, like fine, they're doing their own thing. I didn't even, we'll get to Lethal Weapon at some point. I will watch it. I don't know. It's on a list of things I've never watched. Not like any particular reason. I've seen Loaded Weapon enough times,
Which I don't think I've ever seen that all the way through.
It's a good one.
I need to watch it, yeah.
Shatner plays a character named General Motors.
Nice. I just remember
got Tim Curry in it.
The guy with the Denton Blue or whatever. Hey, Sarge, it's tingling. That means it's working.
Yep, exactly. Yep. It's very much like Naked Gun, obviously, sight gags a minute. So, or Mafia, a movie that we both enjoyed. So,
indeed.
Yeah. So, but Tiger on Beat, I would check it out if you're into buddy cop movies. It should definitely be on your list of things to check out if you've never seen it, which you probably haven't. But like Mike kind of mentioned, there is a little bit of a snag trying to get a hold of these movies, unfortunately.
Yeah, I just looked on Amazon and you can buy a DVD for $50.
Which
I don't know
happen.
Yeah, I don't know if this sucker's out there on YouTube or anything, but yeah, I would make efforts to track it down.
Yeah. And I wonder why there's not like a streaming service that has Hong Kong movies. We talked about that a little bit last time with, Indian cinema has a spot, Eros. That's where you can go for Indian cinema, not just Bollywood. Hong Kong and like international cinema like this, this is never going to be in the Criterion collection. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. But it could get a Kino or, probably wouldn't even say Scream Factory.
I would say probably Arrow.
Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to think of like maybe Vinegar Syndrome. No.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably Arrow. You're right. Yeah. Which, it would deserve it. Like the chainsaw fight at the end, like alone is
right.
Just, yeah. So, but on that note, let's take a break and we'll play a preview for the next podcast.
拍完廣告啲錢咪買翻隻沙皮狗俾你咯。
啲錢俾你買車㗎。
唉，多謝啦，你激小老豆兩句都阿彌陀佛啦。
哥仔，係阿郎同邊個生？
你唔好扶啊！我丙你㗎。死仔！
走得快！
有本事你唔好走啊嗱！掟你咩咩？中你咩咩？想知道點解唔自己問佢啫？
唔好坐架車得唔得啊？
我而家翻嚟揾翻個仔，我係咪有權影翻佢？
你應該記得10年前你生過個仔，你唔要。後尾叫你阿媽湊嚟監護，話個仔係我，你跟住不知所蹤。
我已經訂咗機票同你翻美國。
我唔係憎你，我冇辦法憎你，不過我都唔會愛你。
你知唔知點解？我點解叫個仔叫波仔？
So right on the next podcast, Mike and I are going to be talking about All About Ah Long, a film that is a lot more serious than this one.
And
right?
one I have never seen before.
Wow.
So new territory.
Motorcycle rider, I think?
If you say so.
I think so. It has him on a motorcycle on the poster, looking fucking real fresh. So,
nice.
I think, right?
And I'm pretty sure he drives a motorcycle in Full Contact, too. So there's a theme developing here. Yeah, I'm looking at the poster right now. Young Chow with the cigarette. Oh, my God. I didn't talk about the smoking. How much smoking they do in these movies.
Oh, my
it's
God.
Just
it's
amazing.
Incessant.
He was smoking like crazy in Tiger on Beat.
Hey, I mean, everybody says it, and I'll agree. You do look cool when you smoke. I mean,
yeah.
And some people make it look cooler than others. You know, lung cancer is never cool, but smoking a cigarette and flicking it and shit, there's just something about that motion, something about that look, and in this movie, it's like everybody's got a fucking cigarette in their hand, or smoking something, or bragging out of their mouth. Yeah, you can smell the movie. You smell, right? Like that's the thing about these Hong Kong movies. Like these kinds of Hong Kong movies, like you feel like Hong Kong is as much a part of the story as New York is in New York movies.
Oh yeah.
We didn't even really talk about the fact the Hong Kong, how big of a deal Hong Kong is in this movie, but it's like all those Jackie Chan movies where it's like this is its own thing in and of itself. Like Hong Kong is a character here.
Right. And they're even talking about what districts they grew up in and stuff. Him and Fui Xing On talking about, oh yeah, I'm from the Hakka district. Oh, hey, we're brothers. Yeah. Don't tell my wife that I'm running around on her.
Yeah. I really like that in this movie because again, like it's a buddy cop movie, but then you have it in Hong Kong, so it has that feel and it feels a little different and it feels more. I mean, again, you know, it's interesting as a Westerner, who's been to Hong Kong, to see that Hong Kong of the 80s and how just like different it is, but yet somehow very similar to the place that I was, like late night, like loud, and the streets are lit up. It's just, man, you want to be there. You want to jump into the movie and walk around the street, have a bowl of fucking noodles on the street and just sit and absorb the atmosphere. You just do. Like it's like those New York, it's like those late 80s, early 90s New York movies where you just want to eat a piece of pizza and walk on the street in those movies. Like you just want to be there. So
give me a slice.
Yeah. I love the turtles. Man, I love being a turtle.
I was thinking of Tony Manero walking around with those paint cans and the Bee Gees playing.
I'm a real dumb millennial who likes Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I'm millennial scum. I did. That's why I said it. Not you. You would never insult me like that. I would insult myself.
Not on your own show.
Yeah, right. No, on your show, it's like this fucking show that I go on sometimes. This guy's never seen Home Alone. He's never seen Karate Kid.
Wait for the next Ego Fest. There's a whole segment just dedicated to you, Chris.
Yeah, as opposed to last time where it's like, I'm so glad that Chris is able to fill in for people. It's like, this fucking clown.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. Speaking of Ego Fest, which is a podcast episode that you do infrequently on your show, what is going on over at the projection booth, my friend?
Well, this month we are talking about adult films, ? Which is interesting. We're talking about some, we're going to be releasing an episode soon about a roughie, which is, there's three fisting scenes in this movie. So, yeah.
You should have warned me.
I'm sorry.
Fist like actual.
Well, they kind of faked it when it came to John Holmes fisting Rhonda Petty, but yeah, poor Rhonda, she gets violated a couple times for realsies. Once by herself, once by a biker chick, and then once faked by John Holmes. So, yeah. And then we're, covering some more classics. We're going to be talking about Blonde Ambition and New Wave Hookers. So that New Wave music, man, it drives those women crazy.
I'm kind of scared to ask, is there any fisting in those movies?
Not that I remember. Definitely not in Blonde Ambition, and I don't think in New Wave Hookers. So it's been a few years since I've seen it. So I'm looking forward to a rewatch coming up probably this week.
And is fisting come up in any other projection booth episode ever?
Maybe when we talked about Where the Boys Are.
I thought you were going to say Where the Wild Things Are. I was like, not the movie I remember.
Yeah. You don't remember James Gandolfini? Yeah, give it to me. Give it to me.
Oh, yeah. Stick your fist in my ass. Like, no, I forgot that part.
Yeah, maybe. Actually, I'll tell you, when we talked about cruising, I know fisting came up then.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's still on the list of things that I need to see.
Yeah. I would rush
Mike,
out
what
to
is that
see.
fucking face?
I would rush out to see Lethal Weapon before I see Cruising, but Cruising's got some stuff to offer. So I think a lot of people, they're just turned off by the reputation of the film, but it's got some good stuff going on in there.
Yeah, I've heard the reputation is less than, I don't know. I mean, has it aged well?
Oh, it wasn't well aged even when it came out. It's interesting if you watch it and think about it as like almost like a ghost movie, because it doesn't make any goddamn sense as far as who the killer is, and that the killer like changes height all the time. But I wrote an article actually where I talked about like, well, what if the killer was actually a spirit that's moving from person to person, like Jack the Ripper or something? And
was that in that Cashier's de Cinema that you gave me? Because it might have been. I remember
that
reading
was
something
actually that was in an episode. That was in an issue of Fangoria. The only time I wrote for Fangoria. Yeah.
Now we need to cancel Mike White.
Yeah.
Fangoria.
Oh, I've been canceled so many times.
I know. Cancel this man. Yeah, I should watch Lethal Weapon. Should I just go watch Lethal Weapon? Just like, should I give myself a reason to watch it, or should I just watch it?
I would just watch it.
Is it important? Is it important? Is it an important movie? You know what I mean? Like, it was like, I could have just watched Citizen Kane. Mm-hmm. But I didn't just watch it. We did an episode on it. Is it worth talking about, or is anybody like, what is there to say about Lethal Weapon?
It's worth talking about, especially, this many years later, and you can kind of put it in terms of like Richard Donner's career and Shane Black's career and Mel Gibson and where Danny Glover was at. I mean,
Right.
Al Leong is fantastic in it. It's got just a balls out performance from Gary Busey. It's like Gary Busey's so great that right now, off the top of my head, I can't think of like who the person behind the scenes was. There's probably people yelling at their radio, because people listen to this on terrestrial radio. They're yelling at their radio right now going, "Oh, you idiot, it was so-and-so." But it's like Gary Busey as the mini boss really eclipses the big boss.
Sounds like Under Siege to me.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah. Well, Tommy Lee Jones and
but Tommy Lee
is
Jones
good.
Yeah, I mean, we are all just pawns in some madman's chess game.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. No, yeah. I honestly didn't even know Gary Busey was in Lethal Weapon. So talk about a guy who made a career of just playing assholes in the 80s.
He's basically like an unstoppable killer in that one. I mean, there's some good stuff in there.
I'll have to watch it then. I will try it. Well, if I'm going to do buddy cop movies at some point this year, I mean, I might as well just save it until then.
Yeah. So. I mean, sign me up for that month. I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah. It's not that I haven't seen a lot of them. It's just like, I just haven't seen enough. Like, I've seen some of the ones like, I don't know, people my age would say Rush Hour is like a pretty big buddy comedy movie. And I think it's a good movie. So it's like, It's not really, but it's not 48 Hours. It's not Running Scared. It's not, it's not even Tiger on Beat, frankly. So,
yeah.
But yeah, we'll when we do buddy cop movie month sometime this year, we'll have to talk about all kinds of exciting stuff. Like, what's that one with Michael J. Fox?
Oh, The Hard Way. The Hard Way. Yeah, no, it's not Doc Hollywood.
Not Doc Hollywood, but
no.
But that's the one where he's like shadowing
James Woods. He's an actor from California. Yeah, I actually talked to John Badham about that.
James Woods?
No, not James Woods. Jimmy won't return my calls.
Can't imagine why.
I know.
Right.
Him, John Voight.
Have you ever? But you talked to Robert Davi.
Actually, that was Justin. That was my former partner, and then he promptly lost the interview. So
I talked to Robert Davi, and he was a nice guy.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to Robert Davi about Showgirls, but Yeah, I tried to redo the interviews that were lost for our episode on Tracks, which unfortunately is not a buddy cop film. That is a one of those hot-handed super cop type films.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
The commissioner's eating my ass, and I'm going to eat your ass. Oh wait, no, that's a whole different thing. That's back to Boys in the Sand.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm talking about Gil Hill from Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah. I haven't seen that movie. I've seen that movie one time.
It's really good. It still holds up.
Judge Reinhold.
Yes.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy, right?
Yeah, Eddie Murphy's also in there too. But Judge Reinhold.
Judge Reinhold's there. Yeah.
Judge Reinhold, truly the star of the show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, Buddy Cop, if Buddy Cop movie month is anything like this month, we're going to shape up for some good movies. Because so far, I've been pressed with these picks. These have been really fun, really good. And even something like last episode, which was not at all what I thought it was going to be, I really enjoyed it. So onward and upward with more Chow Yun-Fat. So it's great.
Yay.
Yeah. As for me, cstachu.com, cstachaw.com. That's my link tree. Go there. That's where you can find my stuff. Culturecast.com, patreon.com/culturecast. Big thanks always to our Patreon subscribers. There's a bonus episode coming your way this month that's going to be fucking doozy of an episode.
Yeah, when can I find time to watch that? I got to put together a Banachek podcast.